We're good. Hello, everyone. I'm Jaclyn Luongo, Director of Sales from PDO Max, and I'm quite excited to have Ryan McCarthy here from Rejuvenate. Thank you so much for being with us, Ryan. We're really excited to have you.
Yes,
Uh,
Nick, and thanks for having me.
my pleasure, my pleasure. Ryan, for those that don't know you, please share your background and also how you're connected to PDO Max, of course.
Yeah, so I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been doing aesthetics for 8 years now, and we're located up in upstate New York. We have three locations in Syracuse, Utica, and Albany. And my mother is the owner of PDO Max.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have been waiting to chat with you about the membership programs. We've been having conversations more and more, not only with the sales team, but even with our customers, pivoting at this point where we just did a recent webinar with Danielle Warner from Addo Aesthetics and talking about that monthly revenue and making up for maybe some lost revenue and how memberships are a great way to, keep that consistent revenue and maintain that traction. So tell us a bit about how long you've been doing membership programs and what potentially prompted you to start this and launch a membership program.
Yeah, so we've had our membership since November of 2021. We did kind of a big launch with it right around Black Friday, which I think was important to get it off the ground and get some excitement behind it. So we're now about 3.5 years into that membership, and we've been very thrilled with it. And prior to launching the membership, I'd probably put thought into it for a good year, year and a half before kind of creating that launch. It was important for me to really figure out like how is this going to be structured? How do we want the membership to work for our patients? How is it going to work for us? Because I think it's really hard to unravel it once it's launched. So you really have to figure out the exact structures of it prior to launching it and putting a lot of thought into it. I had seen a lot of practices starting to roll them out, and 3.5 years ago, I think med spa memberships were really in their infancy. There weren't a lot of practices offering them. A lot more common now. There's at least in my town, a lot of the med spas have adopted them, and I do think they are beneficial.
So, can you explain a little bit more how your specific membership works? Because I think there's a lot of different options when it comes to, monthly treatments or banking their services or points per se. So, what route did you go with and why, Ryan?
Yeah, so the way our membership is structured, it's a $99 a month charge to the patient. That charge gets banked, so it goes into their wallet, which is integrated into our EMR system. So it's really a hands-off process for us. Once they're signed up, the EMR manages the charge and automatically inputs that into their wallet. That 99 is theirs to use towards their treatment, which I think is a big draw for a lot of patients. So as long as they're coming in receiving treatments, the membership's not really costing them anything because they're able to apply 100% of their membership fee right towards the treatments that they get. They can bank that $99 up to 12 months, so they have about $1,200 that they can allow to bank and use towards treatments. After that 12-month mark, 99 falls off each month. So their account balance can't grow beyond 1,200, which is rarely ever a problem for our patients. The benefits that they get 10% off cosmetic injections. So our Botox fillers, threads fall into that category as well. They get 15% off skincare treatments. So microneedling with PDO Glow or Lume Envy, hydrofacials, chemical peels, laser treatments. So all those are 15% off. And then we have a branded skincare line. We work with Cosmetical. And they help brand our products for us, and those products are 20% off.
Wow, that is a lot of great benefits for sure.
Yeah. In addition to these benefits that they get, so 10% on injections, 15% on skincare treatments, 20% on our branded products. We also launch member exclusive promotions. So at least once a quarter, we're usually rolling out a promotion exclusively for members in addition to their membership discount. We have member exclusive events as well. So once a year, we try to do like a happy hour event where we cover drinks and light hors d'oeuvres and stuff at a restaurant or a bar locally, which people really like. They like to come meet us outside of work when we're not in our scrubs and have conversations with us. So there are a lot of benefits to the membership in addition to just like their savings that they get.
Absolutely. That's great. And, just thinking ahead to when there's patients banking the dollar amount into their, membership plan, what would you say the top treatments are that they are kind of saving up for to be able to have done?
Yeah, so I think the membership's most popular for people who do come and get routine treatments. So it's a lot of the more maintenance treatments. It's really popular for our tax patients. It's really popular for our skincare patients who are coming quarterly or more frequently for like microneedling, chemical peels, stuff like that. So
Mhm,
we see most people adopting the membership are the people who tend to be more regulars. There are
mhm,
some individuals who, maybe they come in and they are a higher ticket appointment where they're doing a couple syringes of filler and threads, but it's not something that they're maintaining. Those people are less interested in the membership because their appointment schedule's just a little bit less predictable.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, from an aesthetic point of view, I come from years ago. We used to sell series, buy five, get that sixth treatment. And then there was always an incentive to reinstate the series once they were at
Yeah.
that fifth or fourth treatment. And there was always that additional really perk for the practice and the spa that I was ever working with, because then they're coming in and buying product because
Yeah.
they've already had their services paid for, or they have that somewhat taken care of. So I do find that there is always a little more wiggle room and opportunity to sell that maintenance product for home care and grow your revenue within retail sales too. So there's so many win-wins to this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think in part of developing this membership program, it was really figuring out the why. Why do we want to offer membership and why is it beneficial to the patient? So I think
Mhm.
with whatever structure people decide to go with, it really has to be beneficial, one, to the practice, right? Because you don't want to implement something and be losing money on
Lose
now
money.
offering a
Mhm.
membership. But it also has to be beneficial to the patient. They need savings and what's their incentive? Why are they doing it? So I really found something that I thought worked well for us and worked well for our patients as well.
Great. So the conversation that came up in the webinar was that we did with Addo Aesthetics was you are promoting your membership, but outside of anyone that is coming as a patient, as a client, are you doing other promotions for them, or are you trying to really focus and the membership is the promotion? I've seen both rules in a way work. What works for you?
Yeah. So I know you mentioned selling things in a series, and I do think that was more popular years ago. We used to sell packages of treatments. When we transitioned to the membership program, we got rid of our package pricing on a lot of things because the savings was now there with the membership. What I found patients liked about that was there wasn't a large upfront expense for them initially. So when you sold packages, I think the hard thing was always selling that package up front,
Mhm.
them having the funds to cover that purchase. The membership kind of eliminated that barrier for a lot of people. So essentially, we're having package price perks at the membership price
Mhm.
without as much of an upfront cost. So I think that's one thing that really has benefited us and benefited the patient as well.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Um, I think something else that I found worked for us is a simple membership. So we don't have a multi-level tier.
Mm.
We have a single tier. It's a single price, and our discounts are pretty simple. It's 10%, 15%, 20% based on the service or the product purchased. I wanted something that was easy for the patient to understand. I think once you
Mhm.
start getting into these multi-tier things, it starts to get difficult. And it almost turns into like these credit card rewards where it's like, well, what do my points mean? What do I get with these
Right.
points? What do they do? So we wanted to keep it very simple.
Well, and why complicate it, for more just even tracking on your end, which actually transitions me into the question that, of course, is going to come up within, anybody that I've ever spoken to. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to track this. What software can we use? How much manual, calculations and all of this is to track it. So, what have you found a successful, easy usability for software to track this, Ryan?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of med spa software out there now that does allow for membership integrations. There's like standalone platforms. I'm less familiar with them, but something like Boulevard, Podium, things like those, I think have built-in memberships, or Repeat
Mhm.
MD, I think is a popular one. We use Aesthetic Record in our practice. They have a membership feature, so we're able to sign people up within that. It has the contract that the patient signs. And then it auto charges their credit card monthly, deposits that $99 right into their patient wallet. So there's not a lot of work on our end in managing it. The system tends to do it pretty well. Sometimes if a credit card expires or payment doesn't go through, we get notified and we just reach out to that customer, letting them know their payment didn't go through. They're also able to see what's in their wallet from their patient portal. So they can log in, they can see, okay, I have a $500 balance, time to book my Botox treatment. It's going to cover that service.
That's so easy. That's great. I think that might be one of the blocks that keeps, these practices from doing it because they think it's such a big project to manage. So it's really wonderful to hear, that there are really updated software systems to be able to lean on for an
Yeah.
easy membership program.
I
If
will
you
say,
were, yeah.
you have to be really comfortable and confident with the system that you're using. Because again, once this membership is launched, it does create a additional barrier if you're not happy with your EMR service or whatever
Mhm.
technology package you're using. Because if you make the switch, you have to switch all these members over into a new program as well. So I guess one word of advice is just make sure you're really happy and comfortable with the system that you're using.
Before it goes live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that also brings me to the question of do you have pros and cons of even offering a membership that you could share when you were making these decisions on, actually creating a membership, and is there a con side to it at all that you see?
Yeah, so I think some of the pros that we have found, one is it kind of levels out our good months and our bad months. So we don't have as much of a swing in, say, a very productive month, and then say a month like January or
Summer.
July when things are a little bit slower. Those months have evened out a little bit more. You still have, the busy months and the slower months. It's just they're not as far apart from each other. So that's one of the pros, a little bit more predictability. I think it's important, if those funds are banking, that you're not using those funds until they come in and redeem them, right? So in the accounting world, those are liabilities until they're used. So just being mindful of that, because you wouldn't want to be a practice that, say you collect $20,000 in membership fees, they haven't been redeemed, and then you're going and doing something with that money, and it's kind of like a debt
That's a
at that
nightmare.
point. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think the only con to consider is the discount gonna impact your profitability too much? So you have to find a discount that makes sense for your practice based on your purchasing power, what your markup is on products. So just being mindful that you're not overly discounting with the membership.
That's great insight, definitely. And since this is a PDO Max web chat, can you share some of the PDO Max products that get to be taken advantage of for the programs and treatments that you're offering through the membership?
Yeah, so one promotion that we have coming up for our members, we're getting into the regenerative medicine, and I think that's where like microneedling, the PDO Glow, and Lume MV play a big role. So in one of these upcoming months, we're actually going to be offering a free PDO Glow, Lume MV add-on to members' microneedling treatments. And I think that's going to work really well because it's going to introduce a lot of people to these products that may have not had add-ons to their microneedling in the past. So it's
Mhm.
going to be complementary on their initial treatment. Our hope is that they like the product and that they add it on to all their future microneedling treatments. So that's something coming up shortly that we're going to be introducing. As I spoke earlier, like threads automatically get a 10% discount, part of our injectable 10% discount. And then the topicals get that built-in discount with their membership, the 15% off with microneedling.
That's so great. And it's brilliant to do that, to just elevate whatever results, that they're expecting. And then they get to have Lumenvi or Afterglow. And that just even, brings it up another level. I'm so glad to hear
Yeah, yeah,
how it's
absolutely.
incorporated. That's great. Absolutely. Is there anything else that you feel is important to share and be transparent about when it comes to memberships? And it certainly seems to me that you're quite happy that you did, bring this in. And I hear from even some of our trainers that it's hard to gain momentum at first. So do you have some words of wisdom of, not losing or getting discouraged in the beginning or losing that momentum, but just keep going? Because look at now, 3.5 years later, you're speaking really highly and positively about memberships.
Yeah. So when we launched our membership program, it was a Black Friday sale and we were giving people 20 units of a toxin of their choice that we carry for signing up for the membership. So it was a big give on our part, but I think we needed a big lift for that initial launch of it. And truthfully, most of those people that signed up 3.5 years ago, they're our most loyal patients, and we've retained a majority of them through the membership. So that's 3.5 years of active membership, and we've continued to actively sign people up every month since then. That's another point. It never once you launch it, it never stops. So it has to be an active part of your marketing. It has to be in your emails. You have to mention it to your clients when they come in for their appointments.
Mhm.
We're not a very salesy practice. We don't like to push our patients. But if someone's not signed up for a membership, we just gently let them know of the benefits of it,
Mhm.
especially if there's somebody that's coming in a couple times a year. We can kind of tell them what their yearly savings would be if they signed up. So that's something important that we teach our staff, our providers know to mention it, as well as our reception staff when patients are checking in and checking out.
Excellent. Those are great, great points too. We appreciate your knowledge behind this and certainly expertise, Ryan. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to hear about how the promotion goes with our PDO Max product too. And there's lots of new exciting things to come that we can't wait to launch with PDO Max. And I know you feel the same way. So
Yeah,
thank you,
absolutely.
Ryan. I
Yes, thanks
appreciate
for
all of
having me,
your,
Jaclyn.
yeah, welcome. My pleasure. We'll do it again. We'll find another topic and
Yeah,
do another web chat. Thank you.
absolutely. Yep, take care.